Penn has just suspended law professor Amy Wax. This is a saga that's been going on for months and months now. Amy Wax is a conservative professor who's been called all sorts of things, racist, offensive, discriminatory, blah, blah, blah. And, we usually hear the weak, piddling pleas for academic freedom from people on the right and the left, which previously advocated for academic freedom back when it served their purposes to upend standards and ensconce themselves in power. Now you don't see any defenses of academic freedom from the left. Well, they finally got her. They finally suspended a tenured law professor at Penn for 1 year at half pay. For what? For supposedly racist and offensive comments. So I figured I'd take a little look at some of these comments, the ones that are being reported in the media. What did she say? According to Penn, Professor Wax has a history of making sweeping and derogatory generalizations about groups by race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and immigration status. Wax, quote, on numerous occasions in and out of the classroom, made discriminatory and disparaging statements targeting specific racial, ethnic, and other groups with which many students identify. Okay, so give me some examples. Here, ABC News gives me an example. Wax, in an April 2022 Fox News interview, disparaged Indian Americans and said on some level their country is an SHIT hole. Okay. You remember Trump made this comment about how we don't want to just totally open up our borders to SHIT hole countries because we don't want our countries to become like that, which is just obviously true. So I imagine Amy Wax is reacting to that phrase. And she says, well, some of these places really are SHIT holes. Now, look how it's reported. She disparaged Indian Americans by saying, on some level, their country is an SHIT hole. Hold on, I thought they were Indian Americans. If they're Indian Americans, then are you misinterpreting Professor Wax to think that SHIT hole refers to America? Well, the left has been saying that for centuries at this point. So the Indians have left India. They've come to America. Presumably they've done that for a reason. Probably, in a lot of cases, they basically would agree with Amy Wax here. But no, we're not. Amy Wax is not allowed to suggest that there is a reason that people might leave their countries and come to America. What's the next one? In 2021, Wax told Brown University professor Glenn Loury on his podcast that as long as most Asians support Democrats and help to advance their positions, I think the United States is better off with fewer Asians and less Asian immigration. Okay, so she's saying Asians are overwhelmingly likely to vote for Democrats. So when we're deciding who should come into the country, we obviously have to have some limits. Even the left, in principle, doesn't usually pretend that borders should be totally open. So she's saying, yeah, we should reduce the number of people who come here and vote for Democrats. What's wrong with that exactly? Can someone explain to me what's wrong with that? I don't quite get it. If she were talking about people who come here and are more likely to vote for Republicans, and that's why we need to limit their immigration, well, she would be celebrated. In fact, that's exactly what Barack Obama did when he called for mass migration from everywhere in Latin America, except for Cuba. He ended wet foot, dry foot, the policy that allowed Cubans who made it across the perilous shark-infested waters on rafts and on doors to make it to the shores of Florida. He said, nope, you got to go back. Why? Because the Cubans vote Republican. That's why. Venezuelans tend not to vote Republican. So, yeah, give us your Venezuelans, please. Cubans, though, sorry, you got to go. We don't want any Cubans anymore. Obama said the same thing Amy Wax said. But Obama will be given all sorts of awards and accolades, and Amy Wax will be suspended despite her tenure for it. In 2022, according to this reporting, show me the lie in anything this woman said. The last example is the most egregious by far. If you hold the view of marriage that has been held statistically by every single person ever since the dawn of man, if you hold the view of marriage that Barack Obama held as president in 2011, you are a bigot who needs to be stripped of your job and your livelihood, despite holding tenure, according to the libs in 2024. Amy Wax did nothing wrong. And if they can take her out, as apparently they've been able to, I don't hold out much hope for the other handful of conservatives in academia. That was a great clip. Now, hold up. Hold up. All my players who be saying we soft. You got to ring the bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. See you next time.